We were always meant to get on our knees, but it was never for prayer, it was for cunnilingus. That was the word. That was the word. And one of my favourite books and scriptures that I came across is called The Lost Gospel of Mary Magdalene, right? They found it. You can get it on Amazon. I mean, they got it from a cave, but you can now get it on Amazon, right? And The Lost Gospel of Mary Magdalene blew my mind. The scripture is beautiful, right? And we all know about Mary Magdalene because everybody knows, they're like, only she wasn't, right? Mary Magdalene loved sucking dick. Who doesn't love sucking dick? Right? Who doesn't? Right? I do, is what I mean. I do, okay? Right? But Mary Magdalene was never paid for sucking cock, which was a shame because she was very good at it, like me, very professional. So actually, again, women are not getting paid what they're worth, are they? Anyway, she wasn't, right? She was never paid for it. She was never a prostitute. She was never a prostitute. In fact, she came from high society. In fact, the church came out and apologised for ever referencing her as a prostitute in the year 1969. I mean, read the room, mate, pick your year, but sure. 1969. And it was such a measly apology. It was like a corner of a newspaper on page 46, like, oh, by the way, that major figure that's female throughout history, we lied. Like, it was a very measly apology. So let me tell you about Mary Magdalene. So Mary Magdalene came from money. She was wealthy. She had so much fucking money. She was wealthy. Her dad, discovered, Zoom before the pandemic. They just suddenly knew money, right? And they were very wealthy. She was like the Kim Kardashian of her day. Her eyebrows were on fleek. Now, here's what you need to know about the time. Is Mary's a Gentile. So Mary's a Gentile, so she worshipped the sun, moon and stars. She had a poster of Savage Garden on her wall. She never signed contracts when Mercury was in retrograde, that kind of woman, right? Now, what you need to understand at the time is you've got several groups of people. You had the Gentiles, you had the Jews, you had the Romans, right? So the Jews get a lot of shit, right? Because the Jews get a lot of shit because people always think that the Jews killed Jesus. But it's just history. You just need to know your history. It wasn't the Jews that killed Jesus, it was the time. So if you look at the time of that history, what you had the Romans, the Jews, and the Gentiles. The Romans you all know about because they built all the roads and they punched lions in the face with a little silver skirt on, right? And people go, oh, the Jews killed Jesus. But that was just a narrative that, again, the church pushed because it wasn't the Jews that killed Jesus. Basically, the Romans were in charge. So the Romans gave the call to kill Jesus. So the guys that killed Jesus was the Romans. The Romans gave the call to kill Jesus, but the guy that happened to kill Jesus happened to be Jewish. But that doesn't mean the Jews killed Jesus. It means the Romans killed Jesus, but nobody ever blames the Romans because everybody's like, oh, but the M25 is very useful. No. Leave the Jews alone. It was the fucking Romans, right? Anyway, now... So Mary hates the Jews. Mary hates the Jews because she reads the Daily Mail and she's like, oh, come over here, take all our jobs. She's never met a Jewish guy, but she loves that newspaper, right? Horoscopes are very accurate. So she's just there living in her tower and she's doing very well for herself, but her dad is desperate for her to get married. She's 24 and he's like, Mary, you need to settle down and marry somebody, Mary. You're being very difficult about this whole situation. And Mary's like, Dad, how many times do I have to tell you? All my friends that got married when they were 12 are on antidepressants now. That's not me. I'm not doing that. When I fall in love, I'll get married. When I meet my guy, I'll get married. But until then, I'm not getting married. Stop pressuring me. It's not going to happen. And he's like, oh, Mary, look, there's a guy called Jesus who's coming around. And Jesus wanted to meet Mary Magdalene's dad because he was making a name for himself in the town, Jesus was. And Mary Magdalene's dad was a high figure in that society. So Jesus wanted to come around. And Mary Magdalene's dad was like, listen, Mary, Jesus, you could meet Jesus. Maybe you could get together with Jesus. You might like him. And he's like, all right, what's Jesus? What's he do? Well, he's a nice Jewish man from Bethlehem. Oh, I'm not fucking a Jewish guy. I don't like Jewish guy. I'm not dating from Bethlehem. He's a chav. I'm not fucking a chav. No. Mary, will you just give the guy a try? You might like him. He's a very, very nice guy. He seems very loving. What does he do for a living? Well, he's a carpenter. Basic. I'm not fucking a carpenter. No. Is he even any good at it? I think he's quite good at it. Yeah, well, has he got a YouTube channel? Is he good on there? He's got some social media following. Yeah, well, how many followers has he got? Well, at the moment it's 12, but it is... It's going, although some people say it's 11 and maybe you'll be the 12th one, mate. What are you chatting about? Why do you keep talking in riddles? It's not a riddle, Mary. It's a parable. Fucking parables make sense, Dad. Riddles fucking have a secret meaning. Oh, my English. Listen, I'm not fucking, so he's got 12 followers. No, I'm not fucking a Jewish carpenter. That's so bad. No, Mary, just give him a chance. No, I'm good. See you later, right? So Mary goes upstairs, and then the doorbell rings, so she, looks out of her window, she sees Jesus pulled up, and she's like, oh, what is that on his feet? No. So Jesus has come round, and Mary's dad is Mary, come downstairs and be nice to Jesus. No, I'm good, thanks. Come downstairs, right now, and be nice to Jesus. otherwise I'll take away all your inheritance and your tablets, right? Now, again, I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what it says in this scripture, right? Now, in this scripture, on the next page, it says, Mary Magdalene comes down in a wedding dress to greet herself as the bride of Christ, right? And I'm going, sorry, how bipolar is this bitch? Like, what? No page has been ripped out, right? Because this page says IV and this page says V, so you know it's a continuation. It's a little Roman numeral joke for you all. Oh, if you're into the classics, on that one. Anyway. So on this page, Mary's like, fuck this Jewish guy, not dating a carpenter, what's that on his feet? And on the next page, she comes down in a wedding dress. And then you realise, right, like that doesn't make any sense, but then you realise that a lot of history and scriptures and how it has been recorded by people that had access to education, right? And a lot of those times they were men. And maybe men are not very good at translating a woman's language, even when she's speaking plain fucking English, right? The classic example being like, don't worry about it, it's fine. Ooh, read between the lines, dickhead, read between the lines, right? So you go, well, why don't we revisit scripture and maybe revisit it and translate it from the perspective of the people that it was written about? So why would a woman be like, fuck this guy, and then come down in a wedding dress? Of course. Because what do you do when you have to go on a date with somebody that you've got absolutely no interest in, but you're forced to go on the date? You go, fine, I'll go on the date. I'll go on the fucking date. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do everything in my power to scare the living shit out of this fool, right? Bring me the dress. Bring me the dress. Bring me the dress. Bring me the dress. Mary comes down in the wedding dress like, dan, 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 dan. Lifts up her veil, takes one look at Jesus, her nipples are hard, she's like, holy shit, you're the most beautiful man I've ever met in my life. Oh, I'm gonna have to convert, I'm in love with a Jewish carpenter. And like Jesus is there like, nah, bitch, but he doesn't say bitch because he's Jesus. He's like, nah, queen, it's cool, listen, I heard what you said about me and my people. Well, I didn't hear it, but he told me, so I'm gonna go. It's a shame. I was really looking forward to meeting you, Mary. And Mary's like, no, please say, like, I've just never met a Jewish guy before. Like, wow, like, you just, please don't go. No, it's cool, Mary. I'm gonna get off. Actually, listen, Mr. Magdalene, if you ever need any more shelves putting up, you just let me know. I'll see you around, Mary. See you around. And Jesus leaves, right? And Mary's like, no, I ruined it. That was my guy. That was my lobster. That was my guy. That was him. I ruined it. This officer, she ran upstairs to her room and she's crying and she tears down the poster of Savage Garden. She's distraught. And she's trying to there be like manifesting him. Like, please, I'll do anything. I'll fly you to the moon and back if you'll be my baby, please. Now, luckily for Mary, a few days later, there's a knock at the door, and Jesus came back. This very quickly became like his whole USP, right? So, you're right. It's very clever. It's just the whole basis of the religion is based on the fact that it came back. The resurrection is like the major part of that religion, like it's the major founding part of one of the major religions that affects us in the Western world. And the whole premise of the crux of it is that it came back. So me just doing a little joke like that, anyway. So Mary answers the door. By this point, it just turns into a Hollywood film, right? Because Mary answers the door and she's like, Jesus, you came back. Of course I came back, Mary. Listen, Mary, I wanted to apologize for my behavior. I'm sorry, like what you said, it triggered me, and rather than take that as an opportunity for growth and just ground myself and work on my trauma techniques that I've been practicing, and take that opportunity to learn and to grow and to try and talk to you, I just got triggered and I reacted rather than responded, and I wanted to apologize for my part in that story. Oh no, Jesus, no, you shouldn't apologize. No, Jesus, that was my fault. You don't apologize for being triggered. That was my fault, Jesus. I'm sorry. I was an idiot, and I've been doing so much reading and learning all about Judaism. Is that how you say it? Judaism. Yeah, this sounds amazing, and the food sounds delicious. Yeah, the food's not bad. The food's not. And I cancel my subscription to the Daily Mail. That's growth, Mary. That's growth. I appreciate that, Mary. No, I know I did, and you're a carpenter. Well, I mean, wow, yeah, there's nothing, it's just carpentry. But no, it's not just carpentry, Jesus. Like, carpentry is so important, so people don't realize how significant carpentry is. Oh, man, no, people don't always get it. So, you must be pretty good with wood, huh? Yeah, I'm not bad. you must do that thing, when you have a room and you have the wall and then you have a floor and everyone just thinks, oh, it's just a plain room, nothing to see here. But then you put that piece of wood at the bottom of the wall and it's at the floor, and then all of a sudden it looks like a home. It's like a home with oh, are you talking about a skirting board? Yeah. Can you do a skirting board? Yeah, I can do skirting boards. That's really impressive. Like, I don't know how you get them so straight in these old houses that are built on hill. Well, they're not old now, but later they'll be old. Like, and these new build houses that are built on it. Like, how do you get it straight? Oh, I use something called a spirit level. Oh, of course you do, Jesus. Of course you do. Oh, jeez. Oh, Mary. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Mary. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. You don't need to tell me twice, Mary. You don't need to tell me twice. And Mary and Jesus start fucking, and they start fucking there and then. Bam, 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 right? And the dad's like, not on the kitchen floor, Mary. At least you're having a good time, right? And they have incredible sex. And actually, there's lots of research and lots of stuff out there to prove and to show that actually their message was make great love. Because what they did is they connected. They found their lobster. Friends is modern day scripture. Find your lobster. Make great love. We're not meant to be isolated. We're not meant to be on our own. We're meant to be part of a community. We're meant to have love. It's the whole fucking thing. It's in nature. It's the most natural thing in the world to want to connect with somebody. And what happens when you connect with somebody on a spiritual, physical, emotional level, when you find your person and your partner and you make great love, you feel on top of the world. Every problem, every ailment can be healed or at least alleviated by throwing great love at it. That's the solution and answer to everything. And Mary and Jesus, they fucked all the time. It was incredible. They went around, they shared the message. You can find your lobster, make great love. Because think about normally in everyday life. You're like, if somebody asks you for a favor, no, I can't do that. No, I haven't got any change. No, you can't stay at my house. No, you can't buy my car. No, my fridge is not for you. Thank you. But imagine when you're getting fucked properly. Fucked properly, right? And you climax, and you're about to fucking open your third eye and climax, have the most amazing time. And there's that bit before where you get really strong and you can literally pick this fucker up and throw him across the room. Which is weird, because in the daytime, I can't do a burpee. I've tried, Joe Wicks, I've tried. And in that moment, as the choirs are about to start singing, and you're fucking like, wow, this is heavenly, right? In that moment, if somebody was to come and ask you for a favour, you'd be like, mate, have the keys, stay as long as you like. The fridge is yours. I've got plenty, because I've got all I need right here, right? Everything we need right here on earth right now. We can make heaven a place on earth. Belinda Carlisle is just a modern day prophet. Heaven is a place on earth. We can make it beautiful. And I hate this idea that we lose ourselves from responsibility or accountability by going, it doesn't matter how we behave now, just later before we get in, if we say sorry, we'll be all right. No, we have everything we need right here, right now to make the world beautiful. That's what would happen if you make great love. And actually that idea of manifestation or abundance or the secret, actually, one of the ancient messages throughout all major religions is that there's a commonality between all of them, which is treat others how you wish to be treated. Put out what you wish to give back in. You put out love, you get love back. And actually, that was the message. Make great love. And doesn't that make more sense as a religion, as a way of life, to make great love and be in a place of love? Because every drug that you take now is to try and simulate that feeling of orgasm, is to simulate that feeling of ecstasy. And if it's natural and it's in nature, it's abysmal, it's despicable that it's been weaponized to use for shame, to belittle, to control, when it's the most natural thing in the world. It's in nature, it's natural. You're supposed to love connecting with somebody. You're supposed to love sex. There's a part of the species, there's a species that has a part of the body that is purely made for pleasure and nothing else. And it's women, and it's the clitoris, right? And it's the clitoris, the only job of the clitoris is purely for her pleasure. Purely for her pleasure. There is no other role for that clitoris. Men keep trying to give it 2 or 3 jobs. It hasn't got them. Your willies, mate, your willies, 2 or 3 jobs. The clitoris, 1 job. Pleasure. That's fucking it. Do you really think that the ultimate deity, that the ultimate creator of all things would have given the fun button to the other side? Do you think so? Do you think so? Or do you think maybe she went, this is perfection. I'm going to put a cherry on top. Boop, there we go. Maybe that's what happened. Make great love, have pleasure, have all of these things. We're meant to make great. That was the message. That was always the message. We were always meant to get on our knees, but it was never for prayer. It was for cunnilingus. That was the word. That was the word.